Good afternoon. I'm Shubh and welcome to the Shubh Report, bringing you the top world stories that matter to all of us. We begin in the Middle East, where the Gaza conflict has escalated sharply. In recent days, Israeli airstrikes on Gaza City have killed dozens, including women and children. But what makes this week especially significant is that Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia have formally recognized Palestine as a state. This recognition adds weight to the Palestinian cause and places new diplomatic pressure on Israel and the United States. Why does this matter? Because this isn't only about borders in the Middle East. It's about rules of international diplomacy, the role of humanitarian law, and the shifting balance of global alliances. Recognition by major Western powers could influence the next steps at the United Nations and reshape the path toward peace, or prolong conflict, depending on how key players respond. Staying with this issue, the United States finds itself at the center of global scrutiny. At the United Nations Security Council, Washington vetoed a resolution calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, the lifting of aid restrictions, and the release of hostages. US officials argued the resolution failed to condemn Hamas or affect Israel's right to defend itself. Why does this matter? Because every veto at the Security Council has ripple effects. It affects how the world views America's commitment to international law. It influences its alliances in Europe and the Middle East. And it can even shape domestic politics back home. Add this to a recent shift in US public opinion, where more Americans now believe their country gives too much support to Israel. And you see how foreign policy is becoming a critical debate, not just abroad, but inside the US itself. There's also big news from Washington with global consequences. The US government has announced a new one-time fee of $100,000 for each new H-1B visa petition. Current visa holders and renewals are not affected. But for companies and skilled workers abroad, this raises the cost of entry dramatically. Why does this matter? Because the H-1B system is the backbone of America's tech and innovation sector. Raising the price could push talent to other countries, reshape global competition for skilled workers, and impact businesses that rely on international expertise. From politics to climate. In New York, Climate Week 2025 is breaking records with more than 1,000 events and an unprecedented level of participation from businesses, scientists, and activists. This is happening even as federal policies in Washington have scaled back green initiatives. Why does this matter? Because climate change is a global crisis, and the momentum is now coming from the ground up. When companies and civic groups take the lead, it signals a shift. Innovation, green investment, and sustainable technology will advance regardless of political headwinds. For people worldwide, this means cleaner energy, new economic opportunities, and potentially a faster transition to a safer climate future. And finally, a landmark moment in sports and culture. For the first time in history, the UCI Road Cycling World Championships are being held in Africa, in Kigali, Rwanda. The event runs from September 21st to the 28th and features some of the toughest courses ever seen in the world, cycling. Already, athletes like Switzerland's Marlon Reusser and Belgium's Remco Evenepoel have taken top honors in time trial events. Why does this matter? Because this is bigger than sports. It represents Africa's growing influence in the world, attracting tourism, investment, and international recognition. It also shows the world is becoming more inclusive, with major events no longer confined to Europe or North America. For Africa, It's a chance to inspire the next generation. And for the rest of the world, it's a reminder that influence and opportunity are spreading more widely than ever before. From conflict in diplomacy, to climate and culture, and to shifting politics and economics at home. These are the global stories shaping our lives. I'm Shubh Report, and this is the Shubh Reports.